What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet, and here it is, my poorly put together gaming news show. Now, for the more observant ones of you out there, you may have already noticed that I'm wearing a brand new pair of glasses, and these glasses come from Glasses USA, my sponsor for this video. If you want to learn more about these glasses, stick around to the end of the video, and I'll talk about them and my experience with my sponsor, or you can use the link in the description box below and start shopping for glasses right now with the complete sets as cheap as 48 bucks. We are currently a week and a half away from the Breath of the Wild finally dropping along with the Nintendo Switch, so I figured I'd start with Zelda and Switch news this week. And I want to start that with talking about the expansion pass for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now please calm down, Nintendo fans. Hear me out. I'm not going to say what you probably expect me to say here. Okay, the season pass runs about 20 bucks. And as soon as you download it, the very first thing that'll happen is it'll add 2 chests to the Greater Plateau area. The first is going to contain some items that's going to help Link out a little bit. The second is going to be a t-shirt with a Nintendo Switch logo on it. That's just kind of cute. So then this summer, we will see the first content pack that's included here, and that's going to include a Cave of Trials, some alteration to the in-game map, and it's also going to introduce a hard mode version of the game to give you a reason to replay it. Then the second content pack will launch sometime in holiday of 2017, adds a few new challenges, and adds a new dungeon that also includes a brand new original story that's separate from the rest of the game. Now here's the thing, I know I normally balk when it comes to season passes and things along that lines, but for the most part Nintendo tends to get DLC pretty damned right, at least in the games that I've purchased DLC for, Smash Brothers and Hyrule Warriors. They managed to really eke out the value there. Secondly, even though this developmental cycle on this game was very, very long, the developers did say when they had to finish working on it, they felt like they still could work on it for ages, and that's what I wish they were doing here. I mean, 20 bucks to get a little bit more DLC is nice, but I wish they were continuing to develop for it, continuing to push out free updates, continuing to push out paid updates. I just want more Zelda in my life, and if I have to pay for it, I'm glad to do that. But I think this is a pretty good way to handle DLC if you're going to do it. Of course, I'd love for it to be included in the game for the base value, the base price. I understand that that's not always going to be the case, and it does sound like this is stuff that you can easily skip if you're not interested in it, and if you are interested in it, it's at least at a very reasonable price. The only real complaint I have is that you have to buy the season pass entirely. It's either all or nothing. You can't buy this stuff individually. And for the players who are playing on a very extreme budget, I wish that was an option, but I understand why it's not. The other really cool thing about the Nintendo Switch is that there actually have been some Switches out in the wild for about a week, even though they were apparently acquired by illegal means, and Nintendo is looking to prosecute the people that got a hold of those Switches. The good side of that is the people that had those consoles did show off the UI and some other stuff and some other specs. And if you are able to find any of those videos, because Nintendo takes them down very, very quickly, if you're able to find any of them, I can tell you, having watched them myself, it makes the console look just as good as I want it to. I can't wait to hold mine in a week and a half. The downside to that theft, though, is now there are a lot of rumors from breakdowns of one of those stolen consoles that's supposed to be pointing to the specs, talking about the chip and the RAM and the stuff that's supposed to be inside the device. And that can be a little frustrating, especially because Nintendo really wants to control that message. And I want to include those rumors here because I don't want to mislead you guys. I will wait until Nintendo gives us an official answer, but I really, really hope that's soon because I think people are making buying decisions based off this possibly false information, and that sucks. Now, the big release for this week is Halo Wars 2, and it looks like it's currently sitting at about an 80% on Metacritic for Xbox One, and a surprising 84% for PC, but it's only got 4 reviews for the PC port. I did actually play this over the weekend, and I have to say, I do not care for playing a real-time strategy game where I'm trying to manipulate bases and stuff like that, doing that on a console with a controller. I probably should play the PC port as soon as I can. But I will say, the campaign was decent, the multiplayer is alright, it's a little frustrating because I'm not used to it yet, but Blitz mode is amazing. I love Blitz mode. Blitz mode basically takes away all of the base building and stuff like that, and actually just replaces it with collectible cards, and you know how I feel about collectible cards. I'm crazy for them. And even though this is where the DLC and the microtransactions kick in for Halo Wars 2, I have to say, I really enjoy Blitz mode. Even though you can spend an infinite amount of money on packs, I still really enjoy it. In fact, I wish it was a standalone product outside of Halo Wars 2 that you could play for free, because I think it's a really good way to experience the game. The only bad thing I can say about the game is if you do plan to play it on PC, and this is one of those play anywhere games, buy it once, you can play it on both Windows 10 and on Xbox. Before you play it on PC, you should probably watch Total Biscuit's video on the topic. He has some fairly choice things to say. And that leads me to the follow-up that I wanted to do about For Honor, specifically the PC version, but for all versions of the game. If you haven't been paying attention, For Honor did review very well, anywhere between 77% to 82%, depending on the version of the console that you're playing the system on, but it also had a very rocky start. The game certainly got a lot of slack for having microtransactions and a season pass. Basically, a lot of people felt it was a bit of a cash grab, which I think is fairly close to the truth. But the biggest problem with the game is the fact that it is using peer-to-peer to match you with games, and having actually people's consoles or PCs host the game rather than having dedicated servers to do that on Ubisoft's end. And I think this is probably what kills the game. Obviously, if the host of the game leaves the game, then the round ends prematurely. But then on top of that, if they have a bad internet connection, if they have a bad rig, or anything along that lines, the experience can be very grindy, very stuttery, very laggy, very frustrating, and that's not how you want your game to be. But now there are actually rumors going around that it's fairly easy to sniff someone's IP from this, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but then you can DDoS that person, knock them offline, keep them from being able to play. If they're a streamer, you can use their IP address to DDoS them and keep them from streaming. You can even sometimes use that information to find out their real-life information, and this could even result in swatting. So since they're not doing good enough of a job of masking your IP, this is kind of a game you want to stay away from for a little while. My big hope is at this point is because it did review so well, and it did sell so many copies, as well as microtransactions, as well as season passes. Hopefully they will use some of that money to start creating their own server architecture and start hosting their own games. And I think it's really important they do that, because that's the only way I think this game will stay on its feet or get back on its feet once it's fallen. And that's exactly what I want for this game, because this is a game that even with all of its problems, I can't stop playing. I love this game. So Ubisoft, get it together, make this game work. And then finally, let's talk a little bit about Horizon Zero Dawn, which is about 1 week away from releasing. The reviews are already coming out for this game, and right now on Metacritic, with 74 critics weighing in, this game is currently at an 88. But there are a lot of rumors floating around that the storyline for this game and the voice acting and things along that lines are not that great. Case in point, there's one video floating around about a character, Braum, who is schizophrenic and is having issues with that, and he interacts with the main character, Aloy, and in the process, the voice acting isn't very well written, it isn't very well performed, the character animations and the facial expressions are right out of Uncanny Valley. They just don't look natural and normal, but it is just a 3-minute conversation, but it is enough to give me a reason for concern. And most of the reviews actually seem to avoid the topic of the storyline and the plot and things along that lines. Instead, they focus on the thing that I liked about this game at the PlayStation experience, and that's the combat. You are fighting robot dinosaurs. You are taming robot dinosaurs. You are riding robot dinosaurs and hacking robot dinosaurs. Robot dinosaurs. So even if the storyline does turn out to be terrible, and if every scene is as poorly acted as that one Braum scene, I will say that I still think I'll really enjoy this game, because every review goes on to say that the world is breathtakingly awesome, it's very unique, it's very different, the combat is fascinating and fun to do, and I'm just looking forward to that. If you decide you can't invest in this game because of all of these rumors, and I understand that's why I'm talking about it here, know that I will be streaming this game on Twitch next week, so we can decide together whether or not this game is worth it. And that's pretty much it for gaming news this week. I really appreciate you watching, and I hope you stick around as I talk about my sponsor a little bit, because I have to say, these are probably my favorite pair of frames I have ever owned. I love these pair of glasses. They fit and they look really good. I have always been that guy who bought one pair of glasses and then wore those glasses until they literally fell apart. And now, thanks to Glasses USA, well, look at this. These are just the glasses I have right here in front of me. And these are all glasses I've gotten this year. And the reason I've been able to do that is because they literally start at $48 for a pair of prescription lenses and frames. And that doesn't include the discount that you guys get if you use the link in the description box below. It can be even cheaper than that. The way that we ended up deciding on these frames is I uploaded a picture of myself to the website, and then you can try on any pair of glasses. They'll put them on over that photo so you can see what you'll look like wearing those glasses. And they looked great on me on the website, and I think they look even better in real life. This is probably the best looking pair of frames I have ever owned. And I think these will be my permanent pair of glasses, even though I actually have a few other from them to wear day to day. So if you decide you want to get some very inexpensive and very high quality frames, please do me a favor. Click on the link in the description box below and start shopping for glasses right now, starting at $48, including your prescription, obviously, and the lenses and the frames. $48, and that's with a discount if you use that link, so it gets even cheaper from there. And I can say that there's some very high quality glasses. These are the only glasses I'll be wearing probably for the rest of my life. I definitely endorse the product they make. I think it is fantastic. I really appreciate you guys watching the video. I really appreciate you listening to my sponsor's message. It really, really makes me know that I'm always going to be successful here on YouTube as long as you guys are willing to help out in that way. And guys, thank you for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon. I can't wait. We're so close to the Nintendo Switch. So close. I can feel it in my hands. Oh, can't wait.